It's Monday. Weekend's officially over. It's been over. Um, Back to work. Back to the same grind. That being said, Avengers has already been out for the last 4 days. I saw it Thursday, the 26th at 7 o'clock showing. Um, it was originally going to come out free comic book day weekend, this upcoming weekend. I'm prepared for that. I'm going to be actually handing out free prints. I got Iron Spider there, and I did one of the Incredibles. So I'm gonna be part of that free comic book event, free comic book day event, and so yeah. So the movie's been out. I saw it. I loved it. I went in there expecting an Avengers movie. I'm gonna talk about it. So just spoiler alert: if you haven't seen it, you don't want to know nothing about it. Just click off of this and go see it. It's definitely worth it. 2.5 hours long, I believe it was. It felt like a little more than that, but it is the longest Marvel movie out right now, I believe they said. So I want to say it was like 2.5 hours long. So like I said, you haven't seen it, you don't want to know nothing about it, just click off, because I will talk about what I like, what I didn't like about it, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone. So clear heads up. That being said, I loved it. There was a lot of stuff to take in there, man. That was like nonstop roller coaster from beginning to end. And I don't want to try to like break it down from beginning to end, because there was so much going on that like I know I'll forget stuff like from here to here, and then I'll go back here. So keeping it simple, loved it. Loved the Iron Man armor for this one. The whole it's on him thing. He just hits that button and it just comes on him. Loved it. Like right off the bat, if you saw Thor Ragnarok, that last credit scene, then it was pretty much, it felt like it took place 10 minutes right after that, because it starts off with a distress call from the Asgardian, and they're just getting mangled by Thanos, and right off the bat, they were not holding back. They were just killing right off the bat. Heimdall gets killed, not before sending Bruce to Earth to warn the others. Loki gets killed, I think this time for reals. I think because we've seen him die before, it didn't hit me too hard. I was like, oh, well. I did hear a snap, and it is Thanos, and his body's kind of weird colored and on the floor. So he might be dead for real. If so, I mean, that kind of sucks. But like I said, we've seen him die before. So it didn't hit so hard. Sucked for Thor, who was left behind, and the spaceship blew up. The Iron Spider armor was awesome too. My wife wasn't sure what the extra legs were for, but it did come in handy. So throughout the movie, when it was used, it was explained what they were for. Guardians had a lot of fun. There was a lot of humor in it. I think it was well placed. The part where they come across Thor, the Guardians come across Thor in space, going towards that distress call, and Peter's like, how is this guy even alive? And Drax is all like, well, no, you're a guy. This is a man. And I thought that was funny. It was just cool to see them interact with each other, characters we've already seen before interacting with the other ones. There was a scene with Bucky, and where the whole in the trailers where Wakanda's being attacked by those aliens. There was a scene in that battle where and we've seen this in the last two Guardians of the Galaxy movies. The whole Rocket and Groot spinning around while shooting and attacking, whatever. This time it was Bucky and Rocket. Pretty cool. Steve shows up in time to save Wanda, Scarlet Witch, and Vision from getting manhandled by Thanos' cronies. What I thought was interesting about this movie, because the last two times I've even read anything with Thanos was the Thanos comic, was the last two issues of that series. And dude is brutal, he's violent, this and that. But it felt like you could almost sympathize with him in this movie, I thought. It was like, you're a jerk, I hate you, but at the same time, I understand that in your mind, you think you're doing the right thing. The whole trying to balance the universe by wiping out half of it. And he explains, they go into detail on that. He goes into detail how his own world was had a situation talks about that. But they show a little bit about his backstory, about his past, how he found Gamora, and they touch a bit on that. They touch on what else did they talk about? They talk about a lot of stuff. The stones. They talk about the stones. Gamora spills beans about where the Soul Stone that everyone was talking about. They thought it was in Wakanda. They thought it was some other planet. Well, it's finally revealed in this movie where it was. Gamora was the one that knew where it was at. And Thanos goes after that, obviously. And I think when he goes after the Soul Stone was one of the moments where you're like, man, this guy is not a complete jerk. He actually does have some type of heart. Because in order to get the Soul Stone, you had to sacrifice the one thing you love the most. And the Red Skull, who makes an appearance here, who's in that world, tells them this. And it's like, yeah, in order for that Soul Stone, you got to sacrifice something of equal value there. So he ends up killing Gamora. That's the one that dies. And the minute, like, Gamora's like, ha, I'm glad this happened to you. You don't love a thing in this world, you've never cared for anything. And that dude's tearing up. Thanos is tearing up. This big guy that just mangled the Hulk in the beginning of the movie. Yeah, I forgot to mention, he does manhandle the Hulk. This dude that's, wanting to wipe out half the universe is teared up because he knows what he got to do in order to get that stone. And the one thing he loves the most in his life is Gamora, his adopted daughter. So he ends up chucking her, gets the stone. Came at a high cost for him. The battle in Wakanda was pretty cool. When Thor showed up for that battle, it was freaking out. The whole like everyone was clapping and cheering. I gotta admit, I've never been to a premiere with that type. Like, I've only been to the premiere to the Black Panther one, which was, everyone was like, yay, Black Panther. But this one was like, there wasn't a soul in there that wasn't wearing a Marvel shirt. They had Ant-Man was there, cosplayer, obviously. Kids with their action figures and dude with an Infinity Gauntlet. Everybody just like blew up when Thor showed up on the battlefield there. It was like, the excitement there. You can feel the energy. And so they're fighting. Thor's helping out and this and that. Everyone's like kicking butt. And then they go back to Titan, where Thanos faces Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Peter Quill, Drax, and Mantis. That was, like I said, it was like action nonstop, man. That was a fight there. They were taking at Thanos, but every time they were trying to keep Thanos' hand from clinching, because every time he did that, he was able to use the stones. That was a pretty cool battle. He manages to get the stone off of Doctor Strange, because Doctor Strange exchanged stone for Tony's life, and then tells him there was no other way. And he tells him this knowing there was I think it was 14 million ways that this whole event was going to go, and only one where they win. So I'm assuming that's what he was talking about when he said this is the only way. Thanos goes back to Wakanda looking for the last stone, which is Vision's stone. I think it was the Mind Stone, I believe it was. But the plan was, okay, if Thanos shows up, Scarlet Witch, destroy it. Destroy that stone. Which she does. The scene where you see Steve Rogers holding on to the Infinity Gauntlets, Thanos is coming down on him. It was during that scene. Everybody gets slapped around easy, from Black Panther to Bucky, Cap, everyone. Hulk does not come out after that beating he took by Thanos. Banner tries to Hulk out a couple of times, and the Hulk just screams out no. My assumption is he got his butt kicked so bad that he got scared. Doesn't want to deal with it no more. So Wanda does destroy the stone that Vision has, but it was interesting because I was like, wait a minute. If Thanos has those other stones, he can still do something about it, can he? And yeah, he did. He pulled out Doctor Strange. He used the Time Stone to manipulate, rewind, right before Vision got destroyed with the stone. And just ripped that right out of Vision and put it on his little gauntlet. Right in that, he like powering up and all that, rainbow colors all over his neck. Thor comes in and like chucks his Stormbreaker, and it gets Thanos right in the chest, boom, right in the heart, and then Thor just comes up and rams it even more, and you're like, all right, this is probably how it ends. No, he simply like looks up at Thor and says, "You should have aimed for the head." And the infamous bit from the Infinity Gauntlet comic where he snaps his fingers actually got incorporated in this. He snapped his fingers, and all of a sudden, the gauntlet fried. He teleported himself out of there, and everyone's like, "What's going on?" So what happened? Where'd he go? And this is the part where it got like pretty intense for a lot of people. I'm not gonna lie, I was like hit kind of hard. You sat there after the movie, you contemplated life with this one, because it was like witnessing the what they call in the Bible, the rapture. That's what it felt like I was watching. I'm like, ooh, is that what it would look like? Oh, that's rough. So if you read the comic, and well, if you saw the movie, you knew what happened. Half the universe got wiped out. So Bucky starts disintegrating. They start turning to ashes. You think I forget. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I call her Michonne. I'm so used to calling her Michonne. Black Panther's right hand general. You think she's gonna disappear? No. T'Challa disappears. A lot of people start disappearing. Back on Titan, Drax starts disappearing. Mantis starts disappearing. Peter, Quill, Star-Lord starts disappearing. He's like, oh, come on, man. And you see him like fade away. No, the first one out of those ones on Titan, it hit really hard. Spider-Man, Peter Parker, starts saying, Mr. Stark, I don't feel good. And he starts freaking out, and he's over there holding Tony and saying, crying, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. That broke my freaking, I'm not gonna lie, that broke my heart. That was rough. I think because since, you get emotionally attached to, they've been around for 10 years, all these characters and, in these movies. So you get emotionally invested. But I think even though Peter Parker is a little bit newer, Tom Holland's character, I think because he's a kid, he's technically in high school still, and everyone's been through some rough stuff in these movies. They've witnessed and they've gone through Alien, all kinds of stuff. But he's still technically he's still a kid. He's a kid in high school. So seeing him freak out, this kid that knows he's gonna die, he's gonna disintegrate like everybody else. Knowing that, he's freaking out. He's telling Tony, I don't want to go. That was rough to see. I was like, oh, Marvel, you hit me right in the heart with that one. And I'm sure a lot of people felt the same way. That was the roughest part of the whole movie. I mean, Gamora's death was rough, but this was rougher. Because like I said, you're witnessing Peter Parker, the teen, the little kid practically, the baby of the group, and he knows what's up. And so that happens, everyone, and right before Doctor Strange disappears, Tony Stark and Nebula are the only ones left on that. He told Tony, there was no other way, and then he disappears too. So you're like, oh man, Doctor Strange as well. Dang, everybody So the only ones that were left of the Avengers were the original Avengers from the first movie, with the exception of Hawkeye. They mention Hawkeye and where he's at, along with Ant-Man, but Hawkeye doesn't show up. So as far as he probably didn't disintegrate it as well. But yeah, overall great movie. I loved it. Like I say, it really was an emotional roller coaster from beginning to end. It was just like nonstop action. What they're going to do with the next one, I'm hearing the next one's going to be 3 hours long. So if this one's 2.5 hours, the other one's going to be really long. I'm not going to try to guess what happens in the next one. I'm just going to take it as it comes. That's like I took this one. It was great. I loved it. It was just everything I could have asked for in an Infinity War movie. And I love the little things they incorporated, like the whole finger snap thing. That was when he was going like this. I was like, oh crap, no, don't tell me. And he snapped it, and I was like, oh, that's not good. My wife was like, what? You'll see what happens. But yeah, I loved it. If you guys saw it, Obviously, if you're still watching this, you did see it. You want to give your thoughts on it, go ahead and do so in the comment section. What you liked, what you didn't like. I didn't like that Peter died. That's my didn't like from it. Love Thor's new hammer. Rocket Soul was cool. It was cool to see Groot step it up at the end there. Like I said, you want to give your thoughts on that, go ahead and do so in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about the movie. Ant-Man's the next one to come out. Comes out next month. No, we're still in April, sorry. Tomorrow's May. Comes out in June. That'll be the next one. So, the end scene credit was Nick Fury hitting a pager or something and sending a distress call over to, and then you see, the emblem. It's Captain Marvel. So, I forget exactly. That one comes out next year, I believe, before Avengers. So, but yeah, that's all I got. That's my thoughts on the movie. I liked it. If you want to give your thoughts on it, go ahead and do so in the comment section. And yeah, till next time, you guys have a good one. Bye.